All right, guys, I want to go over the trade I took today. I lost on the trade today, and I want to stress why it's important to stick to your plan and the importance of relative strength and weakness in this video. Okay, so I want to start with the trade I messed up. So, actually, before we get into that, last night my plan was that if the indices were to rally overnight, I would be looking at the stronger one to reject supply or resistance, and the weaker one to hold support. Okay, so in this case, NQ was stronger at the open, ES clearly weaker, and for something to be bearish, the strong index needs to reject resistance, and for something to be bullish, the weak index needs to hold support. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, as you can see in this screenshot, had this 6 hour supply zone all the way up at 20,565. Okay, 585, excuse me. And if we look at NQ, it rallied all the way up to that in the morning. Okay. Now with ES, what happened on ES was it was all-time high breakout. So it was a new all-time high, but there was no entry to short that. Like as soon as the market opened, it just dumped. But now that we had that rejection, okay, from the stronger index at supply, now we want to see if the weaker index can hold support, okay, which is what happened. They were actually both at support. So you can see NQ holding this previous day high, and similar to ES, we were holding that same high over here, and we ended up breaching it, and then we had to run. But now I want to talk about the trade that I messed up, and it was the heat map that actually caused me to get into this short. So let me bring that up. So at the open, right, we had all that selling. Okay, now what I saw, and I wanted to, I shorted this. So as you can see, all the selling came in. We popped back up. There was an offer sitting here, which got filled. Okay, see that market buy over here. This is a delta profile. So 3,300 lots got hit here, and that all happened at once. Because if I take that off the screen, you can see it's not there. As soon as that bubble popped up, that was over 3,000 lots that got filled. So that was somebody sitting on the book that wanted to sell. So this was a passive seller that got hit by aggressive buyers. Okay. So when I saw that at 940, I was thinking that this person really wanted to short this. They wanted to continue this. And this was an aggressive dump at the morning, right? So that was my thought process behind that. So at the same time, at 940, you could see we were at VWAP. Same thing with NQ at VWAP. So I was thinking that that was a nice area to continue going down, but it did run up a little bit more. That stopped me out, and then the dump came. So it was I didn't size into it obviously because if you're following along, I'm experimenting with this heat map and trying to find better entries. But now I want to show you something that was the best trade of the day in my opinion. So as you can see, it held demand here and then it breached. This is what I like to call a liquidity grab. And I want to show you what that looks like on the heat map. So if we're zoomed all the way out, okay, this was the first hold, and this is the second hold. This was the liquidity grab, and this was the first time we had that bounce. So if we zoom in, you could see all of these bids sitting on the book, and they get filled here. Okay, that's a nice entry. That's a nice indication to go long. You'll see this happen in other areas of the day, but for it to happen at a demand zone is significant. That's what we want to see. We want to see that there's buyer's intention here, right? So that was a good entry. I didn't take this entry because I was not able to shake this loss off yet. So that's one of my issues I need to work on. when I get stopped out of a trade, I'm a little too emotional, and I like to sit on my hands for a little bit. I let that cloud my judgment, and I missed this nice entry back up to VWAP or back to this EMA. Now the second entry here, which also looked really good, okay, was right here, 10:06. No, this one right here. Okay, so if we just zoom out, right, you can see the size of the bubble, which means this is representing the aggression, the aggressive sellers. Okay, so as we breach this, as we breach the previous low that we had here that I just explained, it was the same scenario where bids were sitting on the book and they're getting filled. Okay, now it's riskier because it's a liquidity grab play, but once you see the level get reclaimed, which happened here, right, with decent volume, that was a nice long entry as well. Now, what's actually happening here now, right? I was eyeing this short, but I didn't take it. And why this was a good short, back to relative strength and weakness, okay? NQ is the stronger index still, okay? NQ is still the stronger index. And for something to be bearish, we want to see the strong index hold resistance. So what resistance is NQ at? We have this key level here, and it's also supply zone that got created before this big dump here. So right there, to be exact, right here, that was the supply that it rejected. Okay, so what time is this? This is 12 o'clock. Let's see what that looks like on the heat map for ES. Okay, so zoomed out already, you can see that on the way up, on this rejection, you can see that there was aggressive buying here. So once it's aggressive buying, like it's more aggressive than this entire push up. So if you're seeing that at the top, that's showing you that there was a seller sitting here that absorbed this, and you can see that there was offers getting filled on the way up, and then it got really aggressive at the top. Now this did take a while, obviously, to play out, but that's the same scenario. Nothing's going to be picture perfect every single day, but so far that's the way I would explain that trade. I believe ES also had that same supply zone, that 1 hour supply zone. So they both came into supply at the same time. So that's very interesting to see as well. So overall, I'm going to say that the heat map has its pros and cons. Like if I wasn't that trade that I took today was it looked good on the heat map, but if we go to the candlestick chart, you know, shorting here after a big dump, I mean, that wasn't a smart trade at all. So I kind of let the heat map influence me, but no excuses. It is what it is. I'm still, getting the hang of the heat map and documenting it as I go. So if you're interested in seeing that, please subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. Thanks for watching.